Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Team Talk Movie News. I am your host, Trevor, and I am here, as always, with Thomas. Thomas, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Lots to talk about this week, as with a lot of weeks, but yeah, definitely looking forward to the show today.
Yeah, lots and lots to talk about. Atticus can't make it again. He's still on his trip. He will be back next week, though. He will be back next week. But yeah, Thomas, lots and lots to talk about. So you just want to get straight into it?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay. Yeah, could be a bit long today because there's just so much to discuss. So let's kick it off. We had some more awards, Thomas.
We did indeed, and the ones from my home country.
Yes. Who were kind of weird because they nominated Rocks, but that's fine. Have you seen like any of the British films that were like nominated a bunch that everybody was confused about?
No, I can't say I have.
Okay.
Rocks has been on my watch list, but haven't got around to seeing it yet. You know, I'll see it at some point probably. It's meant to be very good, but just haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that like all the British films that were nominated were undeserving. I haven't seen either of them. It just seemed it was very, very weird when I watched the nominations announcement, and you know, stuff like Minari and Judas and the Black Messiah were getting snubbed for stuff, and like Mank and everything, and just a bunch of movies I'd never heard of were getting it. But I'm more than welcome to getting more movies put on my radar.
Yeah.
So we have the DGA Awards, though. Really, the only important thing, they also have like Best Documentary, Best First Time Feature, but the big one is Best Director of a Feature Film, and all this really did was affirm what we already know.
Yes.
Chloe Zhao won. She's winning Best Director. There's no two ways around it.
No, yeah. I think that's almost guaranteed at this point. I don't really think there's anyone else that could even slip in, really. I think it's definitely going to be Chloe Zhao.
Absolutely. Though I don't think she's going to get original screenplay, though.
Oh, okay.
I think that one adapted screenplay. I think Florian Zeller is going to get it for The Father.
Wow, maybe, definitely potential.
I have Promising Young Woman winning original over Trial of the Chicago 7, and The Father winning adapted over Nomadland. So I have two upsets happening in the screenplay categories.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no, it's Chloe Zhao's winning Best Director. I mean, it's happening. And Nomadland is incredible. I just rewatched it recently. So good. So good. And like the direction in it is probably the strongest point of what's like an incredible film. Yeah, so we'll be doing our full Oscar preview next week because that will be the weekend of the Oscars. But
yes,
we had what's typically the last major award show before the Oscars. We had the BAFTAs, as Thomas mentioned, his home country's awards, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts Awards. So let's talk about this. So for the screenplay categories, they did what I think the Oscars are going to do: Promising Young Woman and The Father. But
yeah, I definitely got Promising Young Woman over the Trial of Chicago 7. I still think Nomadland has too much, momentum coming into the Oscars. Maybe The Father will slip in, but my current prediction right now is Nomadland.
Yeah. But let's talk about the main six we have been talking about. I mean, I would, in a typical year, talk about animated film, but like Soul's winning, so
yes.
So Best Actress in the Supporting Role, Yoon Jung from Minari. I think this solidifies her as like the front runner.
Yes, definitely. I think before, like a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about supporting actress as probably the closest race. I think now it's really switched to the Best Actress. We don't know who's going to win that really. This one, 2 wins in a row for Yoon Jung. I think it's pretty solidified that she will take the Oscar now.
Right, because she just won SAG. She just won SAG.
Yeah.
And sorry for cutting you off, but
No,
I think that Best Actor is a closer race than Supporting Actress now.
ooh, best. I mean, the problem is best supporting actress. It's less between two people. It's more between the whole group of them. Any one of them could win, I guess. Best actor, it's really now down to only two people. So I guess there's different levels of closeness,
Right.
but maybe, definitely.
I think Yoon Jung is more of a front runner than Chadwick Boseman.
I disagree with that.
I think Anthony Hopkins has been picking up a lot of momentum recently. And the Academy didn't like Ma Rainey's. It clearly liked the father way more than Ma Rainey's.
Maybe there's definitely a case you could make. I still think the momentum that Chadwick Boseman picked up at the beginning will be able to carry him through to the win.
Yeah.
I think it's possibly too little too late for Anthony Hopkins, but you never know.
That's fair. I still think Chadwick Boseman should win. I'm just saying that Anthony Hopkins is making a really, really strong case for himself.
Yeah, definitely.
But Yoon Jung, I think, has solidified herself as the front runner. Still, anything can happen in the supporting actress category, but I definitely think Yoon Jung is the clear number one, like you said, after picking up 2 wins in a row now.
Yeah.
Actor in a supporting role. Guess what, guys? Surprise, surprise. It's Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah. We don't really need to talk about this. He's winning the Oscar.
Yep, definitely.
Like we mentioned earlier, actor in a leading role. Anthony Hopkins picked it up for the father over Chadwick Boseman. Like we were saying, this makes it interesting. This really, really does make it interesting. Yeah, I really don't know what they're going to do with this.
Yeah, it could all this last week could show us a bit more, maybe where the momentum is heading. But yeah, right now, I think Chadwick Boseman should still take it, but it's looking closer and closer every day.
Absolutely. Anthony Hopkins is making up ground. So then, Best Actress in a Leading Role, and this is the crazy one. So Frances McDormand won for Nomadland, which means we've had a different winner at every award ceremony. Andra Day won for United States vs. Billie Holiday at the Golden Globes. Then the Critics' Choice gave it to Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. Then the SAG Awards gave it to Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's, and then the BAFTAs gave it to Frances McDormand. But if you look at who Frances McDormand had to beat for this, there's only one other Best Actress nominee.
I read that somewhere. Yeah,
Alfre Woodard, Bucky Bakray, Radha Blank, Vanessa Kirby, and Wunmi Mosaku. So the only other Best Actress nominee Frances McDormand had to beat was Vanessa Kirby, who's the only one who hasn't picked up a win so far. She's definitely the weakest of the 5.
Yeah, currently I think you do almost have to rule her out of this race at the moment.
Yeah, it's down to the 4 who have won so far. There's no way Vanessa Kirby wins it.
No, yeah.
Any one of the 4 though, I could see happening.
Yeah, you could definitely make a case for any one of them.
And they're also good too.
Yeah.
I'd say probably Andra Day is my least favorite performance.
I haven't got around to seeing that one yet, and maybe she's lost a bit of steam. She won the Golden Globes, which feels like ages ago now.
Yeah.
And she hasn't really been talked about ever since. So I'd say she's probably the next least contending one. But out of the other ones, it could be any of them.
It's interesting though, because I could totally see like Frances McDormand, Viola Davis, and Carey Mulligan splitting the vote and Andra Day taking it.
I think the Andra Day and Viola Davis are playing. I believe they're playing sort of similar characters. They're both black musicians. So if anyone's going to split the vote, I feel it would be those two, just because they're playing a pretty similar role. But yeah,
that's fair. I mean, Carey Mulligan is still my pick for who's my favorite and what I think will win.
Currently, I'd say I have Viola Davis, just going off the fact she hasn't won Best Actor and Actress, and she's won pretty recently, so I just think she's got enough steam to take it through. My only minor worry with her is that they might not want to give it to both Chadwick Boseman and Viola Davis for the same film. You know, that's a criticism that you could make towards her. But then again, Anthony Hopkins might take Best Actor.
Right, but like Ma Rainey's was very, very weak at the Oscars. Like it had actor and actress, and then other than that, it had just costume design, makeup and hair, and production design. So it had like the 3 art categories, and then it just had Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman. So like it didn't get picture, it didn't get director, it didn't get a screenplay category. It's pretty weak if it, overall at the Oscars. So I'm really not sure how much the Academy enjoyed that performance. And like Viola Davis, like I don't know who else you're going to take out though. Like who are you going to put in Viola Davis's place? Like Zendaya, if you wanted to take Viola Davis out. So I don't really know. I don't know. I really don't think Ma Rainey's is that strong at the Oscars. Like it's probably going to win some of the more art direction type of categories. But other than that, I'm really not sure.
I mean, having said that, another question you do have to ask with this is Viola Davis's performance is a lot more traditionally the type of performance that would win an Oscar. Where I believe, I haven't actually seen Promising Young Woman, but from what I've heard, Carey Mulligan is playing a very different character to one that you'd expect to be a typical Oscar winner. So, you know, that's another question you do have to ask when it comes to
Carey Mulligan's definitely the oddball out. Like all the other ones are like typical Oscar performances.
Yeah, which may work in her favor or may work against her.
Right, absolutely. Very, very interesting. Like I said, we'll do our full Oscar preview next time. Oh, and then Nomadland and Chloe Zhao win Best Director and Best Picture. Is that a surprise? No, we can move on.
No. Yes.
Like Chloe Zhao's winning Best Director, Best Picture. I could see them getting really crazy and giving Chloe Zhao director and screenplay, and then going somewhere else for Best Picture. I could see that happening.
Yeah, I think there are some movies that definitely still are in contention. I would say Minari's probably the second favorite, and then Promising Young Woman, Trial, and Judas and the Black Messiah, are probably on the next tier, and then the other 3 are just not going to win.
No, Sound of Metal, Judas and Sound of Metal, Mank and The Father are not happening.
Yeah. But any of the other ones could theoretically take it.
Yeah. I definitely think Minari, Judas, and Promising Young Woman. I think Trial had peaked way too early.
Yes.
And I think Nomadland might fall to that prey of peaking too early because Promising Young Woman, Judas, and Minari are all building up massive momentum right now.
Yeah.
So, it will be interesting. But moving on. Top Gun Maverick, Mission Impossible 7, and Snake Eyes all shifted their release dates, all moving out of like that general like summer 2021 window. All moving. Mission Impossible 7 moved back until 2022, and Snake Eyes and Top Gun Maverick are both now October and November releases.
Yeah. I'd say it's not too surprising this. Currently, if you look at the 2021 film schedule, there's a lot of films coming out. So I guess if they want to split themselves away from that large crowd, it makes sense to push back their release dates.
For sure. Got a new Star Trek movie announced for 2023. Thoughts on this, Thomas?
I mean, it was pretty expected. The most recent Star Trek films have, whilst they've not been necessarily loved by fans, they've made a decent amount of money. So, you know, I'd say it's pretty expected to see that we are getting another one. I personally am not a massive fan of any of the Star Trek films. 2009 one was okay, I guess.
I enjoy the recent ones. Yeah. I do. Now, it's interesting. Do you think they will just like make a Star Trek 4 of the series or reboot it again?
Well, considering it was only 2016 when they made the last one, that's 7 years. I don't think that's quite long enough to reboot it, especially since Chris Pine is still a big actor.
02 was Star Trek Nemesis, and then 09, that was 7 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I guess Chris Pine still feels like a sort of person who would lead a franchise like that. So I don't really see them changing that.
I know. I feel like they could go somewhere different based off of I think Voyager is the current show they're doing. I can see them going back to the roots of like doing the films based off of the shows.
Maybe that is a possibility.
Thomas, you ever heard of Gundam?
I have not.
Me neither. It's like basically Transformers in Japan. But anyways, Jordan Vogt Roberts, director of Kong Skull Island, is going to direct a Gundam movie for Netflix. You interested?
I mean, I can't say I'm overly excited for it, considering I've never heard of it and wasn't a massive fan of Kong Skull Island. But if it's these kind of films, I will tend to just watch anyway. Mindless action sort of stuff like this. So yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly anticipating it, but maybe it could pique my interest close to the time if we see a trailer soon.
Yeah, for sure. I quite enjoyed Kong Skull Island. So if he's doing more big things fighting each other, then okay. Moving on though, Joe Cornish, director of Attack the Block and The Kid Who Would Be King, will direct an adaptation of Mark Millar's independent comic book Starlight. So I'm not too familiar with Starlight, but are you familiar with Joe Cornish's 2 previous films?
I am, and I am a big fan of both of those films, possibly because they're both set in Britain. That may be some bias, but I really just like the way he directs his films, and both of them I am a big fan of. So anything he's working on, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I have not seen The Kid Who Would Be King, but I just watched Attack the Block for the first time this week for the show. And wow, is that good.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's so fun. It's really well directed and put together. I really, really enjoy it. And Joe Cornish also wrote Ant-Man as well.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So I'm definitely looking forward to what he does. Did he write Attack the Block and The Kid Who Would Be King? Are you aware of that?
I am not. I know he directed them.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he wrote them.
Okay. Because so this possibly won't be his first one that he's not directly tied to his writing. But, I'm not familiar with the story of Starlight at all. So
yeah. So here's just
a
basic synopsis of Starlight. So 40 years ago, Duke McQueen was a space hero who saved the universe, but then he came back home, got married, had kids, and grew old. Now his children have left and his wife died, leaving him alone with nothing except his memories, until a call comes from a distant world asking him back for his final and greatest adventure. This totally sounds like a Joe Cornish movie.
Yeah. I'd agree.
This sounds totally up his alley and his style. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was just like a fan of this comic.
Yeah, maybe. I'm definitely looking forward to it though.
Yeah, no, like it sounds like a fun, interesting new type of superhero film. And Joe Cornish, like we said, he wrote Ant-Man, so he's experienced with the superhero genre. And his 2 previous films that he's directed have just been plain fun. Like, they're just enjoyable to watch. Now, this seems to go a bit more dramatic, whereas his 2 previous films, I think you could call them comedies.
Yeah. They're sort of action comedies, but they're more leading towards the comedy side, especially with The Kid Who Would Be King. Attack the Block's got a little more drama, action in it. Yeah,
absolutely. I saw The Kid Who Would Be King was just added to Disney Plus, at least in the US.
Okay.
So I'll probably try and watch it maybe today. We got some Shazam 2 casting news though. So on a couple weeks ago, we got news that Helen Mirren was going to play the villain in Shazam 2. So Lucy Liu is also going to play a villain in Shazam 2. Lucy Liu, probably most known for Charlie's Angels, the original 2000s version, not the recent remake. But are you excited to see Lucy Liu join the cast? Also known for Kill Bill as well.
I'm not too familiar with her, but So I can't really say I'm that excited by it, but they seem to know what they're doing. These casting people for Shazam 2, and it's a film I'm already looking forward to. So just to get a bit more fleshed out with the cast, yeah, always interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not too familiar with Lucy Liu either. But it's interesting. The Lucy Liu Helen Mirren combo is very interesting. I'm wondering if like Helen Mirren is just gonna kind of be like the Blofeld, like plotting the whole thing, and then Lucy Liu's gonna be like a henchman.
I could definitely see something like that happening.
I think it makes the most sense, but neither of their characters are based on comics. They're both original characters from everything we've been told.
Okay.
Which is interesting. Definitely very interesting. But yeah, 2 minor stories up next. She-Hulk has begun shooting. Excited for that to happen, but not much to talk about with that. But the early Mortal Kombat reviews are very positive. Does this make you more excited for the film?
It honestly does, yes, because I wasn't that excited by Mortal Kombat. I saw the trailer. That got pretty good reactions. I was just sort of, yeah, it's a trailer for an action film. But seeing these reviews, seeing that they're positive, yeah, I'd say I'm decently looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, so it's sitting at a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, and you might say, well, that's not that great. For a video game movie, that's insanely high.
Yes, yeah.
Like, that is ridiculously, that's like top 5 all time for a video game movie. Like Sonic the Hedgehog was a 63.
Yeah.
And that's generally considered the best. And this is sitting at 1 point higher.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, maybe this takes the throne of best video game film. Like, that could happen.
I mean, it wouldn't be too difficult to do.
No.
Make a good movie and you're basically top. But yeah, it would still be cool to see an actually good one. Detective Pikachu was one I really enjoyed. I don't know if it would top that, but who knows? We'll have to see.
Let me see what Detective Pikachu was on Rotten Tomatoes. What's your guess? Don't look it up. What's your guess?
Oh, I've already looked it up.
Oh, okay.
I've looked it up. 67%.
Okay, so 67, so just slightly above this. But yeah, no, it's right around like, I mean, Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog are generally considered the 2 best.
Just to say, number 1 video game movie currently. What's your guess?
Number 1, is it Tomb Raider?
No, it's the Angry Birds movie 2. That's
Yikes.
72%. Yes.
Yikes.
The Angry Birds movie 2.
I forgot that movie existed. They made a second one, didn't they?
They did make a second one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad. Okay. So moving on to something that would make me happy. But, well, I don't know if this would make me happy. Wyatt Russell, actor of John Walker, teased that Chris Evans would show up in the Falcon and Winter Soldier season finale. So, without spoiling anything from episode 5, because we'll get into spoilers later for that, would you like to see Chris Evans show up in the season finale?
If he is only interacting with Wyatt Russell's John Walker, I wouldn't mind it. If he's there talking with Sam and Bucky, I think it would ruin the point of a show that is moving on from Captain America. So it depends how they handle it. But at the start of the series, I was very anti them bringing him back. If they want to bring him back to give John Walker a smack on the head, that may be fun.
My earbuds just fell out. I love that.
Yes.
Give him a smack on the head. That is so perfect. I just have this image in my head of Steve Rogers just walking up to Wyatt Russell and smacking him up the head.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that so much. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. Like you said, I want them to be moving on from Steve. But I also kind of want to see like a comic accurate thing where he takes over S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, does that happen? Oh, okay.
That happens in the comics. He gets like really, really old because the super soldier serum wears off. And then he takes over S.H.I.E.L.D. as the new Nick Fury because Nick Fury went off on another project, which kind of makes sense because right now Nick Fury's working on Sword.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like they've moved on from S.H.I.E.L.D. now with these films. So, I don't know, but it's a possibility. I mean...
okay, sorry. but there's a spoiler for Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 5 that leads me to believe they are not moving on from S.H.I.E.L.D., but we'll get into that later. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just going to say, do you know where he teased this? Was it just in like an interview or something?
Just in an interview. Yeah, I can't remember where.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. Hopefully they handle it well, or it's just a mislead. Because if it's a mislead, I'd be perfectly happy for that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. There are rumors that Din Djarin will appear in the Book of Boba Fett, among other characters from The Mandalorian. Would you like to see Din Djarin show up in the Book of Boba Fett?
Give me a minute just to look who he is.
Din Djarin is a Mandalorian.
Yeah, he's the main one. Okay, that makes more sense. I'd be fine with it. I'm not a massive fan of Mandalorian. I think it's fine to good.
Wow.
Yes. So this is a project as a whole, not overly excited by. I mean, I'm sure it will be good. They have handled most of these projects well so far. So, I mean, it's fine if they want to bring in more. I guess it makes sense. Do you know when we're getting Mandalorian 3? Season 3?
Summer of 2022.
Summer of 2022, okay. So this isn't so it's sort of going to replace Mandalorian for this year, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense they still want to include them at some point this year.
Wow, Thomas Hot Takes doesn't like The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
No, it's very, very episodical, and each episode feels like a video game mission. But I'm blinded because I just love Star Wars. So, all right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would be fine to see him again. I would like to see them just kind of focus on Boba Fett, and Fennec Shand. But if he shows up, I wouldn't want it to be for he's just there for the entire series. That would kind of ruin the point. Why not just have Mandalorian season 3? No. I mean, it was fine. I'd be fine with this. But yeah.
I'd be much more happy to see him and Boba Fett than I would be to see Chris Evans in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Agreed. Chris McKay, director of the Lego Batman movie and upcoming film The Tomorrow War, is going to direct a Universal Monsters film, Reinfeld, about Dracula's friend. So do we want this as a What We Do in the Shadows type film? Is this a new genre that Taika Waititi has started of vampire comedies?
Maybe. I mean, it marks a severe improvement from just boring vampire ones like the Twilight. So I'd be definitely happy to see it lean more towards the comedic side, because monster films in general, when they take themselves a bit too seriously, I'm never really a fan of. So, if they don't take themselves too seriously for this, which Chris McKay, he directed Lego Batman movie, so, it doesn't feel like, that's a film that doesn't take itself too seriously. So, I'm, decently looking forward to it.
Yeah, like you said, Chris McKay knows how to direct comedy, and he knows how to make self-deprecating films about the brand. And I think this is what this type of film needs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to see this. Very, very strong rumor that we're going to get a Wolverine anthology Disney Plus show. I would love to see this. So there's a current comic run called Wolverine Black, White, and Blood, where each issue is in black and white except for red, kind of like Schindler's List. And within each issue, there's 3 stories that take place, but all of them take place at different points in Logan's life before he became Wolverine and joined the X-Men. They're just all, just either him in the wilderness or just saving random people or just, doing whatever. And it's very, very good. And I would love to see, we don't need Wolverine. We don't need him to be meeting Xavier. We don't need the X-Men in it. It's just about Logan and his life and the early 1900s or the late 1800s, and each episode can focus on a different point in his life. I would love to see something like that. Not tied to X-Men at all.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty interesting. And in addition to that, depending on when we get this, I don't really need to see it be tied to the MCU either. I mean, it can be obviously a part of it, but if it's this sort of anthology series, as you suggest, where it's just solo stories exploring him as a character, it might be an interesting way to, explore him as a character, then bring him in, much like they did with Phase 1, have each Avenger have their individual movie, then bring them all together. That might be interesting to see. Have him have this show, then be integrated into the MCU. I think that would be something that would be cool.
Right, and each X-Men has the ability to have their own, like, Storm. There's a whole backstory with Storm about her being a pickpocket in Egypt, who then realized she was a mutant and then was praised as a god before being found by Xavier. And then Cyclops, he had a brother, Alex Summers, named Havoc, and his dad died in a plane crash, but then his dad actually turned out to be Kosar, I think, who is like a leader, or he's like basically like a space pirate that like attacks like the Shi'ar and Skrull and Kree empires, and like he's like a bounty hunter. So like all of the X-Men like have their own backstories that you could make into like Disney Disney Plus limited series.
Yeah.
My one problem with this, if you're going to do a Logan show, do it on Hulu. Don't restrict yourself by doing stuff on Disney Plus, because then they're going to have to tone it down. Like, because then we're just going to get X-Men Origins Wolverine and not Logan.
Yeah,
So,
I think doing that though is if they are going to do it on something like, if they are going to make it R-rated, it would be harder to integrate him into the MCU proper if that is something which they want to do, which I assume it is. So yeah, it would just be harder, mark a complete tonal shift, which I don't think would be great for the MCU.
I don't think so, because like if you look at Deadpool in the comic books, Deadpool in his own series is like super R-rated and does all this like in the film. But when he does like crossovers with like the Avengers or the X-Men, more like PG-13 comic books, then he is toned down and it still works. It doesn't feel like a different character. He's just written in a different way. And now maybe that's just with Deadpool, because then Deadpool can make fun of how he's been toned down. But I feel like you could do a similar thing with Logan. Where like he can be like super like hardcore gritty rated R in his own series, because he's not the focus of like, if there's like crossovers like X-Men and everything, like this shouldn't be like the Fox X-Men films where it's Wolverine, and then also the X-Men are here. It should be about the entire team. So with Wolverine not as the sole focus, I don't really think you'd need to keep that dark grittiness that the show gave us.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I guess I'm not too familiar with the comics, so I didn't know that they toned down Deadpool for certain crossovers. But yeah, again, Wolverine now has become probably the most famous X-Men, I'd say.
Easily.
So they might fall into the trap of overutilizing him if they ever do X-Men films. So that's just a thing to think about as well.
For sure. Jacob Tremblay joined the cast of Toxic Avenger, joining Peter Dinklage, who will play the title character. Thomas, this is a remake of an 80s superhero movie. Have you ever heard of Toxic Avenger?
I have not. No, I have not heard of it. Already the cast is pretty strong, is something I'd say.
What was that? Sorry.
Already the cast is shaping out to be pretty strong though. Peter Dinklage is a great actor, and adding someone like Jacob Tremblay, yeah.
Absolutely. So Toxic Avenger, it's a 1984 like super indie superhero movie. It's like it's like B movie campy, very like gruesome violence superhero movie about this guy who falls into like a vat of toxic waste, and it like significantly deforms him, and then he just goes around and murks people.
Okay.
So Peter Dinklage is going to play the main character, and like, okay, There's like 6 movies in the series or something like that.
Wow.
And yeah, there was like a TV show. Then there's an animated kids TV show where they toned it all down. And yeah, there's like a lot with this series, and it's just like B movie indie stuff. So yeah, like the actor who plays the main character doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Okay.
So like it's very like B movie.
Yes, you're right. He doesn't.
You know, but I don't know. Like they're definitely trying to put a project like this more into mainstream. It'll be interesting to see how they update it for today, if at all. But yeah, no, I mean Jacob Tremblay is always fun. I don't know how they're going to utilize him in this. Maybe as like a young version of the character. But I'm not sure. I'm really not. Would you like to see this movie, the original, and then this remake that's coming out?
But just looking at the original, it's got very mixed reviews. It's got 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, but then 1 out of 5 on Empire. So, you know, I don't know if I'll end up watching it before this film comes out. It doesn't look exactly like my cup of tea. It looks a bit silly. But, you know, I might check it out before it comes out.
For sure. And there's still no release date yet. Something that both of us probably will check out, I'd assume, is Scream 5. So they used multiple scripts, and they shot all of those scripts to throw off the actors, so that way the actors wouldn't be able to give away spoilers.
Yeah.
So there are multiple versions of this movie.
Yeah. They did a similar thing with Clue back in 1985, I think.
Yeah.
That's a random piece of trivia I know, but yeah, they filmed multiple endings for it, so as not to get spoilers and for a different experience every time you go to the cinema. So I don't know if they'll do that with this. They probably won't. They'll just play one. But, you know, It might be fun to see. Every cinema screen you go to, you get a different ending.
Yeah, that could be very, very fun. Yeah, I have not seen any of the Scream films.
Nor have I.
I will probably watch through them all though before this comes out. But yeah, no, I think this will be fun. I know Scream is typically a very fun franchise that people enjoy. So I'm absolutely excited for this. Something that I'm even more excited though. Mads Mikkelsen is going to be the villain in Indiana Jones 5. This is perfect.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more with this casting. And already, my bias, I'm very excited for Indiana Jones. But this cast that they're adding just makes me even more excited for it.
All actors who have appeared, like all Star Wars actors.
Yes.
Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and now Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes, so far they are.
So, but yeah, no, this is perfect. Like Mads Mikkelsen and Ben Mendelsohn are my picks for everything to play villains. Like the two of them are just perfect villains.
Yeah, definitely.
So yes, absolutely, all of this. I still want Mads Mikkelsen to play the live action Thrawn.
Okay.
For Mandalorian season 3 or the Ahsoka show. Also, Thomas, you know what we have to do? What? We have to force you to watch Clone Wars and then report back every week.
Yeah, okay. Maybe at some point. When is the Bad Batch coming out?
May 4th. Got a couple weeks.
Okay, I've got a couple of weeks to watch it then.
Yeah. It's very, very good though. And I wouldn't, you can if you want to, but I wouldn't just skip the season 7 so that way you can prep for the Bad Batch. Like I would very honestly just go like season 7 is all payoff. So
is there any I can skip?
I would personally say no.
Okay.
It's very good. I think you'll enjoy like episodes are just 20 minutes long.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's very addicting to just keep going from one episode to the next. Like
Okay.
I got my grandma obsessed with the Clone Wars, so
Right.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay. I'll get started on it this week then, and
It's
see
it's
if
good.
it's my cup of tea.
And if you don't like it, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like that. I think Clone Wars is Star Wars at its best.
Wow. Okay. Better
I
than
think
the originals.
yes, I think Clone Wars,
Wow.
the Clone Wars
Okay.
TV series is the best piece of Star Wars to exist, like physical
Okay.
or like
That's big.
visual media.
That is big.
Yeah. And again, just like with Promising Young Woman, I don't want to hype it up too much for you, but I think Clone Wars is very, very perfect.
Mm.
Season
No,
1 can be a bit, so don't watch the Clone Wars movie.
I wasn't planning on.
Season 1 can be a bit tricky because they're still kind of figuring out how to use Ahsoka. But I would still watch it just to get the groundwork.
Yeah.
And it establishes a lot of storylines, but it really fleshes out a lot of Star Wars. So season 1 might be a bit difficult, but I still think it's good, and you still get to see a lot of cool cameos and characters show up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try and check it out sometime this week.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. But back to Mads Mikkelsen. Yes, Indiana Jones 5. Thomas, on the spot, you have 30 seconds. Title Indiana Jones 5. All you know is the cast.
Title Indiana Jones 5. Okay. Indiana Jones 5. Search for the
20
lost.
seconds. What was that?
Search for the lost scroll.
Fair. I'm gonna call it Indiana Jones and I'm gonna say Indiana Jones and the Fountain of Youth.
Fountain of Youth. Okay, fair enough.
They kind of already did that with Last Crusade, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm just gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
I would have said Indiana Jones and the Lost World because originally Indiana Jones 2 is about him like finding an island of like dinosaurs.
Wow. Did they just use that for Jurassic World instead?
Yeah, no, Steven Spielberg just said like, I want to do something else with Indiana Jones, and then later he just like kind of had that for Jurassic Park.
Okay, that's a fun piece of trivia.
It's not a fun piece of trivia, but speaking of Jurassic Park,
What?
Fast and Furious 9 director says that Fast and Furious could cross over with Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I mean, if you are not already convinced that these films are not realistic in the slightest, this is definitely the defining point that you should look at.
Justin Lin, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, who would think this is a good idea?
Probably the people who were making it, because if they're going to make this, it's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is going to make billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like both of them are $1 billion franchise. Like both of them consistently crank out $1 billion with each installment of the franchise.
Yeah.
This has potential to be like, Avatar, Titanic, Avengers Endgame level box office.
Yeah.
And like Star Wars The Force Awakens, Avengers Infinity War. I think those are the only 5 movies to make $2 billion, but I'm probably off on that, like worldwide. Let me double check that. Here, you talk while I check and see how wrong I am. But
yeah, so anyway, this seems very, very silly. He says it may cross over. Whether it will actually come to fruition is a different matter. It seems like something that sounds good on paper, but if they actually get into production, may realize, oh no, this is not actually a good idea. This is not going to work, which may be something that happens. I'm definitely not exactly looking forward to it. I think it might end up being very silly. One thing about the Fast and Furious franchise it's a very interesting franchise. How it began as a film about racing and very street, very ground level, and it's just exploded into this universe of like essentially superheroes. It's
Yeah, I
become
mean, we're talking about the trailer later.
exactly. Well,
and
we'll get to that.
Wow. Yeah, and it's Avatar, Endgame, Titanic, Force Awakens, and Infinity War, the only 5 movies to make 2 billion.
Okay.
But Jurassic World has made 1 billion, Furious 7 has made 1 billion, Fallen Kingdom's made 1 billion. Like these movies make $1 billion.
Yeah.
I just, for the life of me, do not want to see this.
No.
But guess what, Thomas? This could happen, and then we'll have to watch it and review it. Yay!
Yeah, we will.
Pete Davidson, who I love, great stand-up comedian, is going to play Joey Ramone in a Netflix biopic. Do you know who Joey Ramone is?
I am not familiar with who he is. No.
He is a American musician. Look him up. Once you see his hair, you can kind of figure out who he is. Yeah, so he is a professional musician, singer, composer, and lead vocalist of the punk rock band The Ramones, who you may have heard of.
Nope.
They did the song, I believe. I'm probably off on this. I believe they did the song for the trailer for Spider-Man: Homecoming. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So my musical knowledge.
Yes, that is The Ramones.
Doesn't exist.
Me neither. I just know that because it was related to a Marvel project. So yeah, so that's him. That's him singing it. Yeah, this is. I mean, fine.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't yet seen King of Staten Island. I know people have said he's pretty good in that.
Pete Davidson is really good.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, if it's he is a comedian, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I hope they do try and make it comedic. I hope it isn't too dramatic, because we've seen comedians go into dramatic roles and it's not exactly worked out, but sometimes it does work out.
Yeah, no, he's a current cast member of SNL as well.
Oh, okay.
But no, I love Pete Davidson, so I'll be excited for it. But yeah, I'm not too attached to this. Something that's I can't decide if I love or hate. Adam Sandler and Carey Mulligan are going to star together in a Netflix movie called Spaceman.
Yeah, it's not a pairing you would expect to see.
No, it is not. Yeah, so Carey Mulligan, though, so this is going to be a comedy, because Adam Sandler. And Carey Mulligan is quite funny, actually, in Promising Young Woman.
I've only ever seen her in serious stuff, like Doctor Who and other period dramas.
Promising Young Woman is absolutely a drama, but she does have she has great comedic timing. Like, she has some really, really good moments. So I'm not surprised to see her getting into a comedic role. And this is just going to be another Adam Sandler Netflix movie. I didn't hate Hubie Halloween, but I also didn't love it.
I did like Murder Mystery, though.
Yeah, I have not seen that one.
But again, that might be my bias of just loving the murder mystery genre. On paper, probably wasn't the greatest film of all time.
Yeah. But no, I'm fine with this. I like. I'll watch anything Carey Mulligan. And Adam Sandler is not my favorite, but I mean, he's fine. It's okay. We got a bit more DC casting news. Pilo Icebake of Game of Thrones joins the cast of Aquaman 2. We don't really know what he's doing. I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I have no context for who this is.
Yeah, I do know who he is. I love Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Yeah, very good show. You should definitely check it out.
I know I should. I just TV's hard. There's just a lot of TV, and for every TV show, there's just so much of it.
Yeah, but the thing about Game of Thrones is it's much like Falcon and Winter Soldier, which we'll get to. It's almost like a film. I mean,
Yeah,
the budget they had for it was just very large, so they could film it like a film.
did you see the Lord of the Rings TV show just for season 1 is going to cost $500 million?
500 million. I mean, that's a project that I've been waiting so long for. I remember it was announced probably 2 years ago, and I was very excited for it then. Still, almost nothing about it we've seen.
We have casting news, but
We have, but like no details other than it's about Aragorn.
Yeah. But yeah, that's insane. Like that's more than like what Avengers Endgame cost to make.
Wow. Yeah.
Like Avengers Endgame was $300 million.
Yeah. I mean, clearly at the moment, they're judging TV as a very profitable source of income. So they are pumping all this money into it.
For sure. But we will take a quick ad break, and then we'll be back talking about all of the trailers and this week's episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we will see you guys right after this. Hey everyone, it is Trevor from Teens Talk Movies, and I am here to talk to you about Anchor. So, if you have not heard about Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. So first of all, it's free. Everybody loves free things. But sometimes like free things like aren't great, or like there's a more expensive version. This is not the case with Anchor. It gives you everything you need. You have creation tools. You can record your show. You can edit your show right from like a phone or a computer. There's literally no restrictions. And also, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. So you don't have to do anything. You record, you press publish, and Anchor does the rest. Your podcast will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, so much more. It's really amazing. I use Anchor all the time. I'm using it right now. It has literally been my livelihood throughout the pandemic. I use it almost every day to record different podcasts or edit shows. It's really amazing. Also, you can make money from your podcast. You can support yourself with a podcast. You don't have to have any minimum listenership. You could have one listener and make money off of ads. It's, like I said, Anchor is no restrictions. It gives you everything you need, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Now, back to the show. All right, everybody, welcome back. And for those listening to the clip out of the trailers segment, welcome to the show. It's a clip out of Teen Stock Movie News, episode 6, our main weekly show. But today we are talking about 3 trailers, a bit less than last week. Last week was a lot of trailers. Only 3 trailers this week, but 3 fun trailers. I wouldn't call them good. I would say they're fun. We had Army of the Dead, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. It's a tricky title. And F9, Fast and Furious 9. Thomas, I'll let you pick. Which one do you want to kick off with?
Do we want to start with Army of Dead?
Let's start with Army of Dead. So this is Zack Snyder's newest directorial effort. Will be coming to Netflix in May, I want to say.
I believe so, yes. Or maybe June, something like that. But
May 14th. May 14th. So this is in less than a month.
Yeah, well.
Man, this year's going by fast.
It is.
But yeah, so we'll definitely be reviewing this film for the podcast. But what were your thoughts on this trailer?
Well, at first I was very confused because Zack Snyder also directed a film called Dawn of the Dead, which is also about vampires. So I didn't know if they were connected or not. It doesn't. They're not connected, no. But
no, I don't believe so. It's zombies, right? Not vampires. I wasn't crazy.
Pardon?
It's zombies, correct?
Oh, zombies. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, that's my bad. I meant zombies.
Okay. Sorry, I just got very confused and thought I watched the wrong trailer.
No, I meant zombies. I mean, they're all monsters, really, aren't they? But anyway, Zack Snyder, I like most of his films. Even Batman v Superman, I liked. Watchmen was the only one I was a bit iffy on. So I'm always excited to see what he does, and he always has a very fresh style, which I didn't think really came through with this trailer. Maybe once we get a bit more, we might see a bit more of Zack Snyder's flair in it. I do think it's interesting that it is releasing through Netflix, which shows that maybe he doesn't like working with Warner Brothers anymore after the whole Justice League.
I mean, I wouldn't work with them.
No, exactly. So, yeah, I think it's interesting to see that. Dave Bautista is fine as an actor.
I'm happy to see this role, though. Sorry to cut you off, but he's been doing a lot of supporting stuff for a while. I'm happy to see him get a lead role in a major blockbuster film.
Yeah. He's often quite silly in some of the stuff he is in. And Zack Snyder's films, if you can say something about them, it's not that they're silly. So it'll be interesting to see him in this kind of film. And yeah, overall, it looks pretty decent. I will definitely check it out when it comes out. And as I say, Zack Snyder, if he's directing something, I'm always curious, to say the least.
Yeah, no, I really like the tone of this trailer. So this is not a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, but Army of the Dead is supposed to launch a franchise. This is supposed to be like a franchise launching film for Netflix. So they already have a sequel and a prequel in development.
Okay.
So they have quite
even knowing what this is like.
Yeah. So they have quite a bit riding on this. So yeah, and it will be out in theaters May 14th, and then it will be on Netflix May 21st.
Okay.
But no, I really enjoyed the tone of this trailer. Dave Bautista, I mean, we didn't really get to showcase any of the actors in it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it looks fun. I love apocalypse type stuff. That's just always a genre that I've really, really enjoyed. So yeah, like I'm very much looking forward to this. I mean, it seems kind of like the zombie tiger. It seems like off the wall, kind of crazy. But I'm here for it. I am here for it. I do enjoy Zack Snyder's kind of style as well. Like I love Man of Steel.
Yeah.
BVS I'm a bit less high on, but it's fine. Especially if you watch like the director's cut or extended edition, whatever you want to call it.
That's the only one I've actually seen, so
yeah, no, it definitely improves it. So yeah, no, I'm very excited for this. I think it will be fun. I'm not expecting anything too incredibly special, but I definitely just think it will be a fun time.
Yeah. Real quick, if you say you like apocalyptic films, definitely check out Love and Monsters. It came out last year. I just saw it. It was amazing.
I'm definitely that's definitely on my watch list. I've been trying to get around to it for a while, but currently I've just been focusing on Oscar stuff. Though it did get a VFX nomination.
It did, yeah. But definitely check that out because that's a great apocalyptic film.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was waiting because it was at like the $20 rent price for a while, but now it's down to $5.
Oh, is it not on Netflix for you? Oh, sorry. It's on Netflix for me. I don't know if it got added to the US.
Oh yeah, no, it isn't. It isn't on Netflix in the US.
Okay.
It's just a rent for $5. I'll still probably watch it. Because like I said, it's been on my watch list for a while. But yeah, no, it's sitting at a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is crazy for a film such as this.
Yeah, it was very good. Very good.
And the sequel's in development.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be checking that out. So let's talk next about The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. So first of all, have you seen The Hitman's Bodyguard?
I have. Do I remember it? Not really. It's a very forgettable film. It's a film that exists. I will never go back to it. It's just there. It's there. It's a film.
That's fair. Yeah, I have not seen it. I don't really have an interest in seeing it. I'll still probably watch it for when we do this review. It comes out June 16th.
To be honest, you don't really have to. You could just read the Wikipedia plot summary.
Yeah, but I am a completionist. I do want to watch it beforehand.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, the trailer was fine.
Yeah.
It looks like another dumb action comedy.
Yeah.
Salma Hayek was actually pretty fun in it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Why is Samuel L. Jackson still making action movies? Like,
I don't know.
Not to be an ageist or anything, but like you're getting up there, dude.
Yes. Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was fun. He was just basically being Deadpool, but not as Deadpool.
Yeah, I feel like that is now his role that he will play for the rest of his career. Deadpool's, but slightly nicer.
Yeah, just like nice, more family friendly Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like Free Guy, same thing. It looks like the exact same character.
Yeah, and I believe Six Underground would probably be similar.
Yeah. Free Guy coming out in August of this year. So yeah, I mean the trailer is fine. There were a couple funny moments, I guess, but it just like you said, The Hitman's Bodyguard was forgettable. This trailer looks like it's forgettable. There's nothing special that happened. There's nothing memorable about it. It's very basic.
Yes.
So obviously we will probably be watching it for our review this summer. But yeah, like I just don't care. Like I really couldn't care less, I guess, about this film.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely of the same mindset as you. I'll see it, but I'm not planning on. I don't think I'm going to really enjoy it. Who knows? It might surprise me, although I doubt it.
Yeah, definitely agree. But let's see here. I was just looking at the release schedule. I'm very excited for May 14th. So that's Spiral from the Book of Saw, Those Who Wish Me Dead, and The Woman in the Window, all in the same week.
Wow, Spiral I'm really looking forward to Spiral and The Woman in the Window as well. Two films I'm definitely looking forward to.
That's gonna be a fun weekend of reviews.
For sure.
Fast 9. I'll just go ahead.
Well, this trailer is very interesting. One thing I do want to mention about the trailer, you can tell it's a superhero franchise because they're using the same song that was used in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer. Like, if that's not...
they are, aren't they?
If that's not a marker, I don't know what is.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, this is it. It's a superhero film.
Oh, that's hilarious. Why is John Cena in movies?
Yeah, that's another point I'd like to mention. He's not a good actor at all.
Why? Like, he's so stale and dry and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, he has no character.
No.
He just always feels like he's just kind of there.
Yes.
Why? Jeez, I did the same thing with LeBron James last week, but like, why is John Cena in movies?
I know, why can't sports athletes just stick to doing sports?
Like, what is the best athlete that has turned actor? Like, think of a good actor that started out as an athlete.
And
don't say like Will Ferrell.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know, honestly.
Like, Will Ferrell is the only correct answer there to best like athlete to be an actor, and that's a cheat answer.
Yes. Yeah. It's a thing that shouldn't happen, but does because they bring in money. That is what the world is about.
I mean, here, I just heard you Googling, and I'm going to do the same thing. Athletes turned actors.
No, I was actually looking up what Will Ferrell did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so Dwayne Johnson. That's fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, like, Terry Crews, Michael Jordan, like, I don't know. Was Arnold Schwarzenegger an athlete?
I don't think so.
I mean, he was a bodybuilder, but I don't think that counts. Does
No.
it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he was just a bodybuilder. So I guess Dwayne Johnson's really the only decent one.
And even he's a bit iffy in a lot of films.
Right. Yeah. I guess John Cena wasn't terrible in Bumblebee, but he was definitely one of the weaker parts of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk about the trailer. So, like, his Dom's brother is here, and it's John Cena, which doesn't really make sense. Okay. But, like, he always talks about family, but then neglected to say he had a brother. That's fine.
Yeah.
The brother's mad. He wants revenge. Oh, wow. What an interesting and riveting concept. And then they, like, fight, I guess. And then now there's, like, anti-gravity devices, and then they're going to space. They're setting up space.
Yeah. Are they definitely going to space?
That's Fast and Furious 10.
Yeah, because there was one scene in it where the truck's, like, spinning around. I could have sworn they were in space, and then they just jump out of the truck. That is how bizarre and absurd these films have got. Well, I don't know.
These are dumb, stupid 90s superhero movies with a big budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this would be like if Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had, like, a $300 million budget. Like, of 1990s teenage, you know?
Yeah.
Like, where it isn't serious. It's like, not like the recent Ninja Turtles films kind of tried, I guess. But, like, these are, like, campy superhero movies. If they were, it's like when you, like, give like a child, like, the keys to, like, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars, and then, like, they're just, like, throwing their action toys around, like, action figure toys around, but then it's like, that's, like, reality. Like, it's just literally the Fast and Furious movies are a kid playing with action figures, but he has, like, hundreds of millions of dollars.
And the thing is, the actual Fast and Furious, so Hobbs and Shaw didn't take itself too seriously. The rest of them are trying to be serious films, which is a problem because they're having these stunts and all kinds of things that are just not realistic at all.
Like, the thing with the MCU is it does work to be grounded.
Yeah.
Like, it kicks off, the MCU kicks off grounded, so that way when we start to get not grounded later, it makes sense. Fast and Furious started off grounded, but we're also just making bad movies. So I'm going to watch it. I'm going to marathon all the Fast and Furious movies. I've seen, like, majority of the first couple.
Yeah, I've seen a few. See, the problem is I don't really remember which ones I've seen and which ones I haven't. They all blend into one. I've definitely seen number 8. I think I've seen number 1. No, I have seen number 1. But some of the other ones I could have seen, I could have not seen. I'll have to look up the plot summaries to realize if I have or haven't.
I'll be marathoning all of them, so wish me luck.
Yes.
Before Fast 9. Fast 9 comes out July, I want to say.
Maybe. I don't know.
June 25th.
Okay.
June 25th. It's a pretty loaded summer after everything that got canceled last year, or pushed back. It's almost like a double year of film this year.
Yeah. And that's why some of them get pushed back even more.
Yeah. Has a Fast and Furious movie ever gotten an Oscar nomination? Please tell me no.
Let me look that up real quick.
Please tell me no.
Awards, Fast and Furious. No.
I don't think so.
Doesn't look like it. No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. Do we think this has a chance for visual effects?
Considering it, I don't think so. But who knows, really? The visual effects category is so just that any movie that has good visual effects can get in. It's nothing to do with quality, so maybe. But yeah,
I was really disappointed Birds of Prey walked away Oscar nominationless.
Yeah,
I was really hoping it would get something.
yeah, that's true, I guess.
But at least Bloodshot didn't get nominated. Am I right?
Yes, yeah. I haven't seen it, and I never plan on.
Yeah. Speaking of Vin Diesel,
Yeah.
So that is it for our discussion of the trailers. Pretty negative today. Sorry about that, guys. But if you make good movies, then we'll be positive.
Well, Army of Dead was okay.
Yes, Army of Dead. Army of Dead was good. But Thomas.
Yep.
Want to get into some spoiler talk for Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Of course, yeah.
All right, let's do it. Do you remember what this episode was called?
Oh, I should have known you were going to ask me this. I don't know. I did not look it up.
It is a 5-letter word, and it starts with T and ends with H.
Truth.
Well done.
Wow.
Well done.
I guess it was just at the back of my mind somewhere that was quite was good. Yeah.
That's just some intelligence right there. Well done.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this.
Just really quickly before we get into it,
Yeah.
I just randomly am on the visual effects for Best Oscar. The shortlisted ones for this year that didn't make it, you'll be happy to know, are Birds of Prey. Was Birds of Prey. One of them didn't. Bloodshot was also on the nominate. It was also on the shortlist.
Yeah. I didn't think Birds of Prey was going to get visual effects, but it was also shortlisted for makeup and hair, which I do think it deserved the nomination in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or costumes. I really think it could have garnered one there.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
So Sam and Bucky demand the shield from Walker. Really nice scene from Walker to kick it off. Walker is such a complex character, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, despite the name of the show being The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, to me the most interesting character of the series has been John Walker, which was very interesting because it's not something I expected going into it.
I think the two most interesting characters are John Walker and Carly Morgenthau.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because if I'm being completely honest, and I didn't expect this, but I'm kind of finding myself agreeing with Carly Morgenthau's ideas. Not in the way that she's doing them.
No, yeah.
But her ideas, kind of like what Sam said. I don't like how you're doing it, but I like what your ideas are. She had a really great line, like, how many people have to die just for us to be citizens of the planet? I mean, it's a nice... They're really having time to develop the quote-unquote villains. Similar to, Killmonger. That movie worked so well because it had such a strong villain.
Yeah.
That some people agreed with. And in the end, Killmonger's ideas were what they ended up going with.
Yeah, and Infinity War and Endgame obviously was Thanos.
They've
really worked. The MCU has really worked to make their villains the best, or almost the best parts of a lot of the films.
And they didn't used to do that. They just,
exactly.
With, Ironmonger, it's just basically, I want to be like you, with Abomination. I want to be like you, Whiplash. I want to be like you, Red Skull. I want to be like you, Loki. I want to be like you.
Yes.
I could go on and on. It's just all people wanting to be like and jealous of the main character. But this kind of takes that with John Walker wanting to be like Steve, but it goes way more complex.
It goes way deeper because there is more time given to fleshing out his character. And Wyatt Russell is a very good actor so far, from what we've seen.
Yeah, which is why these MCU shows are working so well. And this is why I think Star Wars should just kind of solely commit to TV shows and stop doing movies.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But, I mean, the experience of going to see a Star Wars film at cinema, that's a great experience.
Right, but then it usually is, then it's terrible when it's a bad movie like Rise of Skywalker.
I didn't think it was that bad, Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of thought it was awful. But
wow, okay.
That's if you enjoyed it, I'm happy that you enjoyed it. I just unfortunately did not have the same experience.
No, okay.
But so Walker destroyed Sam's wingsuit. Bit of some iffy dialogue in this scene. The back and forths. Not great.
Can I just say, one thing I found really funny is whenever Sam tried to do anything, Walker would just take him out of the fight. So this fight almost exclusively really between Bucky and John Walker, which is something I just found funny.
Well, they have the super soldier serum.
Exactly.
Sam doesn't.
Exactly.
But the fight does end with Sam and Bucky taking the shield and breaking John's arm. Barnes finds Zemo in Sokovia and hands him over to the Dora Milaje. Great scene, this.
Yeah.
Really well done.
I mean, I said last episode that last episode of this show. Oh, God. Anyway, I said basically that it would be the end of Zemo. I was wrong. There was one last scene, but now this is the end of Zemo, which is sort of sad in a way. He didn't get much to do, really. But, they're doing... Hopefully, they do other stuff with the character, and this is not just it, because I feel like that would be a waste of a great character.
And a great actor in Daniel Brühl.
Yeah.
I do think since the show does focus around Sam and Bucky, it just needed closure between him and Bucky, which we got.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
So Walker in court is discharged and stripped of the role Captain America. So the world is now Captain America-less. Afterwards, Walker is approached by Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Also, I should have mentioned spoilers, but you guys already know that.
Yep.
So this character, Thomas, is from the comics.
Yes.
She's a double-crossing S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Okay.
Who would make a lot of sense. Is going to be Madam Hydra.
Okay.
Which is a major villain to like Captain America. She's an amazing character. She's like a villain in like the Captain America world of like Winter Soldier and Falcon and Sharon Carter, who they all have to go up against.
Okay.
Similar to like Crossbones and that kind of realm of villain.
Yeah.
She's a brilliant character in the comics.
Yeah, one thing, it was a bit odd just seeing her appear here. But it was kind of cool to see her have such a presence over the scene just without knowing who she is. But yeah,
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, right?
Pardon?
It was Julia Louis-Dreyfus, right?
Yes, I believe so. But yeah, if there's a bit more comic background I'm missing there, it would make more sense that, it's less of just, oh, that's a new character. I've heard some theories that she might be the power broker, although given another scene we saw later in the episode, I think it's almost confirmed that Sharon Carter is the power broker.
Yeah, we see her talking to Batroc. It's absolutely Sharon Carter. 100%. No, it's I shouldn't say 100%. 90% positive. But Contessa de Allegra Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, or Val. She was this wasn't supposed to be the first time we see the character, so she's going to be in Black Widow.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
So she was supposed to first appear in Black Widow, which is a prequel, and then in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we've kind of got the order reversed, which I think would have made this moment a lot more interesting based off of how we see her character in Black Widow. So now it'll be interesting to see her in Black Widow and then retroactively look back on this scene.
Yeah. I mean, it's a credit to Marvel that they still managed to make this scene work despite not knowing who she was.
Yeah, for sure. And also just a testament to Julia Louis-Dreyfus's performance. Being able to portray who and what this character is and does. So Sam leaves the damaged wingsuit with Torres and visits Isaiah Bradley, and what a scene.
Yeah.
He talks about all of the experimenting, which is fully comic accurate, which I appreciated. And his grandson Isaac, who we see once again in here, is the Patriot, I believe, who is part of the Young Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're building up more towards that. But what a scene this was.
Yeah, this is where, to me, the show that is best with these sort of character moments. I'm a bit mixed on other stuff, which I'll get to towards the end of the review. But this is where it is at its peak. This show, with all the character development, and we get to see more of this world, and we get to see these sort of themes come through, and that's just where the show has really excelled, in my opinion. It was not at all what I was expecting from this show. I thought, it's going to be a bit more. It's going to be a spy thriller, but actually, it's got a lot more heart and a lot more depth than I was expecting, which is a great surprise.
I think if this was a film, it would be like a spy thriller type thing. But because it's a TV show, there's way more time to develop everything, which is I really appreciate, because this is such a brilliant scene, brilliantly acted, brilliantly directed and written. It is so well done. And like you said, I do have some issues just like with a lot of the action scenes. I think have actually kind of been a bit of lows for me. I don't know if that was your problem.
So my problem really with this series is the story or lack of it. Because they're focusing so much on the characters and these themes and this development, it almost takes away from the story. So when I wake up on Friday morning, I'm not, compared to WandaVision, where every week I was on board with the story, really anticipating it. This time I'm sort of, I enjoy it when it's there, but there's no real connection to the story itself. There is, essentially that is my main issue with it, because we're going into the final episode. I still don't really know where it's going. I thought, that's probably because it's good mystery, but as we've gone on, it's probably more because the story has been so sidelined in a way. So yeah,
right, because there's no like solid ending, like there's no conclusion to this.
exactly.
That is like, this is what we've been building up. Like, what have we been building up to?
Yeah, that's essentially my problem with it. We've not had enough meaty plot to latch onto. It's been all about the characters, which has its pros and cons. Its pros being it's great to see all these characters get development and get their own spotlight shown on them, but then it does detract from other elements of the show that are just as important as characters.
Right, and I think that's the thing. Like, WandaVision kind of took over pop culture. We haven't seen the same thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
No, definitely not. Yeah,
just because like there's nothing really to look forward to, I guess, every week.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
And like what I was saying, like a lot of the action stuff falls flat to me because it starts to get repetitive. At least to me.
I would agree with that.
It's decently well directed, but a lot of it really starts to feel repetitive and kind of disjointed because we're like there's so many character moments, and then when there's an action scene, it just feels almost like a jarring transition because like you do all the stuff with the boat, like that's a solid 15 minutes of this episode.
Yeah.
And then to transition, it's just it feels a bit disjointed. Not to say that I'm not enjoying the show, because I very much
definitely not. Yeah, the character stuff alone is enough to make it very enjoyable.
Absolutely. But yeah, this episode especially felt it felt disjointed, like it was broken into a lot of chunks that didn't really connect. Each one of those pieces were really, really good. It's just connected together. They didn't work as well.
Yeah, the Sharon Carter scene was like 30 seconds long. It did not feel like it belonged at all. Like, it was such a jarring transition. And yeah, they could have slipped that in a bit nicer, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's also just to go to the editing, which is
Yeah.
probably one of my problems with it.
Mm.
But moving on, so they're fixing the family boat, which is a fun scene where Bucky comes and helps. But like, this is something we set up in episode 1 and then are just now coming back to
Mm.
in the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
Whereas like with WandaVision, like the penultimate episode set up the final episode. This was kind of like wrapping up some stuff, but also not setting up anything.
Mm.
I don't know. This episode just felt very strange. Like it was enjoyable, but it just felt kind of off.
Yeah, it felt like we were going back to the first episode with this slower pace. Was my main takeaway from it.
Which I don't hate. It just feels
Mm.
weird to have like your big setup episode for the final episode of the series be like this.
Yeah. Which was weirdly, it's almost the same thing they did with WandaVision. With the big reveal in episode 7, and then they took it back for episode 8 and made it a calmer, slower story. But it worked in WandaVision
Because it was setting up the finale.
Exactly. Whereas this one, it doesn't work because we still don't know where the finale's going.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing with this as a TV show, the finale could be so good that it makes the rest of these episodes work, and there's things that they were setting up that we just didn't realize.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I'm going to reserve my full judgment on the show until the finale, but I really enjoyed the show once it started off, and there was like last episode was incredible, episode 4.
Yeah.
But just overall, it's kind of slowly been degrading for me.
Mm.
It's probably went from like a 9 after the first couple episodes now to like a 7.5 or 8.
Yeah, probably I'd agree with somewhere along in that region, yeah.
But anyways, Barnes delivers a briefcase from the Wakandans to Sam, which I don't believe we get revealed what it was.
No, but I think it's fairly obvious it's a wingsuit. I mean, I could be wrong there, but I feel like that's probably what it is.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. But Barnes and Wilson train with the Shield and agree to move on from their pasts and work together, which was kind of weird because I thought they were kind of, I don't know, I kind of thought they had figured that out. I didn't get a lot of the tension.
Yeah.
But honestly, just like seeing them like mess around with the Shield and train, like I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
I love how they were just casually throwing it and it would get back to them every time perfectly.
I know. But the Flag Smashers plan an attack on the GRC conference and are joined by Batroc, who has been hired by Carter, very clearly and obviously the power broker. She's working with Batroc and the Flag Smash. Like it's Sharon Carter. She's the power broker, which is an interesting choice, but that I kind of like. So I guess this was the setup. They're going to attack the GRC council. Weird to set that up in like the very end of the 5th episode.
Yeah.
Not set up. This is our main goal. We're gonna I guess they kind of did. I don't know. Like I said, a lot of this just feels disjointed. But then in the mid-credit scene, Walker builds a new shield from scrap metal in his war medals, which was kind of a cool scene. Okay. Oh, you didn't see the post-credit scene?
I did not see the mid-credit scene. No.
Yeah. So John Walker is building himself a new shield and melting down scrap metal in his old war medals to make it.
Okay. So nothing too important then.
No. So I almost think the problem we were saying there's a lot going on in this, and I feel like there's almost too much going on.
Yeah.
Like we have John Walker, we have Sam's story, then we have Bucky's story, and they're kind of together, but then we have the Flag Smashers, and now Batroc's getting introduced just now, and we had Zemo, but now that's over, and then there's the Wakandans. And then there's also the Flag Smashers and Carly Morgenthau.
They're bringing in elements, and then they're just ending them very quickly.
And now we have Contessa de Valentine de Fontaine or whatever her name is.
Exactly.
Like, there's, like, I hate to say it, I feel like this needed to be a couple more episodes. Like, they're fleshing out the main characters quite a bit.
Yeah.
But they're throwing in so many supporting characters that are playing what seems to be a pretty big role in the show, but are not fleshed out.
And even having said that, Bucky hasn't had much development since episode 1. You know,
Yeah, that's fair.
Sam's had more with the whole being Captain America scenario, but Bucky himself actually hasn't really.
I feel like they kind of took too big of a bite here, bit off more than they could chew. I feel like they tried to put in way too many characters, and are just having a difficult time balancing them within the confines of their 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Which is strange why they just wouldn't do more episodes if they felt the need to have all these characters so that way they could develop them and get you to know them. Like Contessa de Fontaine, I'm just gonna call her Val. She, like we said, she had really good screen presence. She was able to carry the scene well. And Isaiah Bradley had it as well. But like just like a lot of like the flag smashers, like we're supposed to care when they die, but we kind of don't. And like I feel like Hoskins didn't really have too much development.
No.
Like the only reason his death worked was because of Walker, not because we were attached to the character of Hoskins.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This feels a bit disjointed to me. It's still good. It's just a bit disjointed.
Yeah. Which is something I'd exactly agree with, yeah.
Overall, I'd give this episode like a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd probably go 7.25, something like that.
Yeah. Yep. But I'm excited to see where they go. I truly am excited to see how this ends. But yeah. I think that's all we have for the show today, Thomas.
That is all we have, yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. We really, really do appreciate it. If you listen to us on our podcast feed, you can check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/teenstalkmovies. If you're watching on YouTube, you can check us out on podcast feed, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast, just pull up Teens Talk Movies. We'd really appreciate a subscription on both because that's the only way the show continues to grow. If you're on YouTube, please like the video, comment, everything that YouTube people tell you to do. You know what I'm talking about. But we really, really do appreciate it. We'll be back next week with a Mortal Kombat review, the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and an Oscars preview show. Lots and lots to talk about next week. And Atticus will be back. So, bunch to look forward to. But until then, thank you again so much for listening or watching. And we'll see you guys next time. Until then, goodbye, everybody, and stay safe.